I did not plan on recording this episode, but sometimes you feel a pull to say something out loud. So this episode is personal, but it's not about calling anybody out. I'm not naming names, situations, I'm not giving details. I'm just wanting to talk about a pattern that I've seen, a mindset shift, and something I've learned the hard way over the last year. And it's like this week was my freaking moment. Like, okay, I think I've learned my lesson at this time. So here it is. There's a quote that keeps playing in my mind, right? And you've probably heard some version of it. And it says, never explain yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. And the more I sit with this, the more I realize how deep that actually is, right? Because the last year I've had two major misunderstandings in my life, like huge ones, the kind that literally shake you, the kind that make you replay conversations in your head and think, if I could just explain this one more time, maybe they'd get it. But in both situations, the most painful realization I had was that it wasn't the misunderstanding itself. It was realizing that the other person didn't want my side. They didn't ask me questions. They didn't want to talk about it. They didn't want clarity. They just decided. And that changed something in me. We're taught that communication fixes everything, right? That if we're just clear enough, kind enough, articulate enough, people will understand. But the truth of this is something that most people learn too late. If someone wanted your perspective, they would ask for it, right? Silence isn't confusion. Avoidance isn't misunderstanding. Not asking is an answer. That's your answer. They don't care. When someone chooses not to hear your side, the version of the story they heard is the version they're comfortable believing about you. That's what they think about you. And that's really hard to accept because it forces you to let go of control, right? Like you don't get to choose how they see you, what their perspective is of you. They've already chosen for you. And I think that's why it hurts so much. Here's why this hits so deeply for high achieving, emotionally aware women like Michelle. We're problem solvers, right? Like we're communicators, we take responsibility, we reflect, we self correct. So when something goes wrong, our instinct is to fix it, to explain, to clarify, to smooth things over. Like you will do anything to fix the situation. But not everyone operates from that place. Some people don't want to fix the situation. Some people don't want resolution. They want justification for how they already feel. Because listening to your side of the story would mean questioning their own assumptions, owning their part, or admitting that, well, shoot, maybe I'm wrong. And for some people, that feels more uncomfortable than losing the relationship, which is really a sad thing if you think about it. And it's taken me years to really understand all of this, to be honest with you. Looking back, I've always tried to listen to people's sides because there's three sides to the story, right? There's yours, his, and then there's the truth. This was the hardest lesson for me. You cannot reason with someone who has already decided who you are. You cannot explain yourself into being misunderstood by someone who benefits from misunderstanding you. And the more you try, the more you drain yourself. At some point, explaining yourself stops being about clarity and it starts being about self-betrayal. Because now you're trying to convince someone of your integrity instead of standing in it. So personal reflection for me, without sharing too many details, what hurts the most for me, I don't know if it's about losing the relationship or if it's just realizing that I was the one that was willing to have a conversation and they weren't. Like that's knife in your heart. I was open to accountability. I was open to feedback, but they were closed. And that's when I had to ask myself a really uncomfortable question. Am I explaining myself because it's healthy or because I'm afraid to let go? Because sometimes we chase closure when what we really want is validation, and not everyone is capable of giving that to you. So here's some signs that someone is committed to misunderstanding you. If you feel like, oh, this is resonating with me, this part is important. So here's how you know when it's time to stop explaining yourself. 1, they don't ask clarifying questions. 2, they speak about you instead of to you. 3, they shut down conversations before they even start. Ugh, I hate those, by the way. Like, if I want to talk to you about something or talk through something with you and you're just like, I don't want to talk about it, like, oh, that's the worst thing that could happen to me. They've already decided your intent. They think they know why you want to talk about it. Or they frame your silence as guilt instead of you just placing boundaries in place because you know what happened. When someone wants understanding, they seek context. Let me say that again. When someone wants to understand what happened, they will seek context. They will go find the answer. When someone wants distance, they're avoiding it. Here's the cold-hearted truth. Not everyone deserves access to your truth. Your story is sacred. Your intentions don't need a defense attorney. Your integrity doesn't require an audience. Some people just aren't meant to go where you're going. And some endings don't come with conversations. They just have to come with acceptance. And this is the part that feels terrifying, but also freeing at the same time. You don't need to be understood by everybody. You need to just be aligned with yourself. The people who truly know you don't need explanations. The people who don't, we're never going to hear you anyway. At some point, choosing peace means choosing silence, choosing dignity over defense, choosing forward motion over these emotional loops that we get stuck in. And this isn't about like shutting down or giving up. It's just about discernment. It's about knowing when communication is productive and when it's performative. It's about realizing that growth requires releasing relationships that can't meet you in that emotional maturity that you're in. Because some people will never get there. Some people cannot meet you there. And that does not make you a cold-hearted person. It just makes you clear. So if you're listening to this and you're in the middle of a misunderstanding right now, I want you to hear me when I say this. You are not required to audition for your own character. You are not obligated to explain yourself to people who refuse to listen. And you don't need permission to walk away from conversations that are draining you of your peace. Conversations, feelings that are bringing you down, like physical heartache. I've literally felt physical heartache from some of these instances. I'm allowed to walk away. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is stop explaining and just start trusting that the right people already see you. If this episode resonated with you, if it hit home, I'd love for you to share it with someone who needs it. And if you're in a season of letting things go so you can step into what's next, then this conversation is a part of a bigger shift we're going to be making together. I'd love for you to look back on the 6-week reinvention challenge, these conversations, things I'm letting go of in 2026. Like, I'm going to be bringing more of these conversations to my platform because they're very important. And I just think there's a lot of people that still need to grow up and still need to understand how all of this works. So thank you for being here, and I will talk to you soon.